Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gav Major and this is a Let's Play in the British Tier 6 Premium Battleship Duke of York. Now, as always, a Let's Play is basically where I play the game, explain what I'm doing, and hopefully I'm not so distracted reading out of a book like I am in a review. So, I've spawned on the left, got to play the left side, I've got an Aoba and an Ashishu in support. It's a game of domination on Sleeping Giant. On the enemy team we have a Fubuki and a division with an external Normandy. We have a Mass, a Graf Bay, a Mayuku, a York, a Scharnhorst and a KG5. So, initial aim, probably hope that the Ashishu can push up and do some spotting. Aoba's probably looking to kite away. Also looks like a Shaw's probably is moving in to take a position up behind this island. The division is quite scary, as I know the capabilities of a Exeter when it's supported by a destroyer, and that ability to constantly churn out that DPM while in smoke, so that does partially concern me. I'm going to aim for that midway through the island, and then I can decide later on as things evolve whether I turn out and kite and use my armour, or turn in and flex depending on what gets spotted, or if I get spotted. So we have a Graf Bay and a Mayuku, both heavy cruisers. We have the Scharnhorst as well. Scharnhorst is concerning because she's going to want to close in and brawl. We also have the Exeter, which looks to be going at some form of speed, but can't exactly pick out what she's doing. That also means we have the Normandy and probably the Fubuki. Yeah, there's some torpedoes as well. So I'm probably going to go for the outside of the island, because I don't want to be pinned up against the island, especially if the Scharnhorst starts picking on me. There is the Fubuki, locking on the Fubuki, doing the usual lead of about 3 pips. However, she's turning in, or turning out I should say. Let's see if we can get anything on. Knocking out her engines, her steering gear and one of her turrets with that body. Fingers crossed that can give our Ashishu a bit of an advantage, because the Ashishu does have decent guns. And I might even contemplate turning in and seeing if I can just get another volley in. Never know, but we're not spotted, and so considering the number of cruisers here, it's a good position to push in. Get another incapacitation and a fire on the Fubuki, and we know the Fubuki hasn't used her damage con, or hadn't used it earlier because her engines were knocked out. However, no damage ticking up, so she's still alive. I think we're going to switch to AP here, just because of the amount of cruisers now popping up. Probably also going to start turning away because we're going to get spotted, and it's simply a case of, can anything stay spotted long enough? Normandy and the Scharnhorst are firing on me, so is the Exeter. Waiting to see if the Exeter wants to turn out, because the rear turret on the Exeter likes to be kicked out sometimes, but no, she's dropped off. She's still sailing in. Most of her armor's quite thin though, so maybe we can take advantage of this. Just trying to get some range between me and the Scharnhorst and the Normandy. That way I can focus more on the Exeter. Flick our turrets off to our port side. Problem is, I'm now seeing we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of the team versus only 2 of ours. So think we are going to be turning away. I think I made the wrong decision to start potentially kiting in earlier, so time to definitely get the hell out of here. Getting a volley out on the grass bay. Unfortunately it's a bit high because I fired when it was obscured. Exeter's going broad. With a Bogey that close, I don't know how long she's going to be around for. But if we can remove her out of the game, that's very useful. Grass bay's out of range. Exeter's gone and popped a smoke screen. I think if we're going to do anything, we're going to be swapping our shells to HE and seeing if we can start putting it onto the Scharnhorst. So, only a 13-second switch. Going to use that repair party. Getting a fire on the Scharnhorst quite nicely. Now at this range against the Scharnhorst, I still think, even with the improved AP penetration, or auto bounce I should say, I do think it's still better to go with the HE, especially when the Scharnhorst is just damage con that fire. If it wasn't that they had two battleships down there, I would be very tempted to flex. However, 2v1, it's not a advantageous engagement. There we are, getting two fires on the Scharnhorst, and not going to be firing any more HE at the Scharnhorst because of a potential fight fire with fire. So with that in mind, we will switch to AP. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to see any of the enemies because we're undetected and they're not shooting at us. Maybe I can hold out until the cavalry arrives in the form of the rest of my team travelling over from the Alpha objective. By being up here, my team moving in from the south, it's potential that we can form a decent crossfire. It's simply a situation of we're trying to work out what the enemy are doing. Will the Scharnhorst continue to push up north with the Normandy? Being that two enemy cruisers are simply just pushed in against the rest of my team. There's the Exeter. There's the Normandy. There's the Scharnhorst. Normandy's broadside on, but it is British AP. Looks like he's slowing down. Aim to the deck level. Let's see what we can get with that. Only a little tickle. However, we are closing in, which is good. I'm going to slightly adjust my course. The reason being is the island to my front. Exeter is well out of range. There we are, that's a bit better at the yield of that AP. With the Scharnhorst sailing away, that's taken torpedoes out of the equation. The Exeter sailing away, that's taken torpedoes out of the equation. And the same with the Graf Spee. Normandy's definitely picked up speed. Scharnhorst is definitely noticing me now. However, with the Scharnhorst only having 11-inch guns, we can actually battle tank that. There's the Normandy again. Scharnhorst is coming up here. That's what I'm reading. Don't think I'm going to be able to get a volley onto the Normandy. Really overturn it. I think we're actually going to switch to HE after this as well, actually, so we might as well just hold off. 11-inch guns, they're not going to penetrate our rear, so he's probably should be switching to HE. Now's a good time to flick it out. Disabling both torpedo launchers. Let's get that sonar on, because it is a Scharnhorst at the end of the day. Now, if she had kept sailing on that course to get behind the island, then I would have been intrigued to slow it down. Switching to AP. We have won this game if I don't die. So I'm going to get this angled because I know the Normandy's got small caliber guns. She looks to have changed her mind. We're just going to chance the AP because you never know, it might get over the island, but we are going to switch to HE. Getting some decent hits there, which I'm quite happy with. And now it's simply a matter of the clock counting down, I should say. And there we go, a victory. I'm very surprised I survived. Did make a mistake there. I did put myself into a position where I was going to flex down onto the enemy. However, I should have probably read that didn't have enough support from my friendlies, and that the enemy was quite heavily focused, and therefore should have probably made a more decisive decision to actually break off. However, I was able to then change that from angle of pushing in to breaking off. Also picking up on that moment, there's that moment where you're unspotted and you don't know if the enemy are pursuing you with the intention to kill you, or whether they've gone, nah, he's not worth chasing. So sometimes if you sail off to the edge of the map and you can get the enemy to chase you, then that's actually advantageous for your team, because you're drawing the enemy away into a random direction that they're going to be useless. However, if you go unspotted and you don't see, usually I slow down, like maybe I sail a bit broadside on just so I'm ready for when they get spotted again. But if they don't get spotted for a while, you need to make that decision that now's the time to push back in and see what's actually happened. In that case, turned back in, turned out the Exeter, the Normandy, the Scharnhorst had retreated off. They said, now we're not going to chase you. But I should have maybe made that turn in earlier and been able to catch them out. However, by making that turn back in, I've now re-engaged them a bit more on my own terms. They're a bit more dispersed, a bit more distracted, and therefore I was able to then capitalise on that. Getting 56 hits on target, 2 kills and 6 fires, high calibre as well, with 109,000 damage, coming in top of the team by an acceptable margin, I would say, and earning quite a decent amount of credits, especially considering it is a tier 6 premium ship with a reduced ship service cost, so a good money spinner. So in comparison to a KG5, well, the review will be carded top right now and also in the end screen, and as it is a Patreon video, you'll see all the lovely patrons' names on screen. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, and if you are already a subscriber, say thank you very much. If you want to see my command build and my ship modules, they're down in the description, along with the email address for the channel if you want to send in any of your own game captures, and the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel on Patreon, as per the lovely people on screen. Until next time, I'm the Galloping Major, and back to the port.